Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between. You know what it is. You know who it would be. It's me. Hi, guys. I'm Intellect. What up? This is another podcast. Technically, it's like the fourth, but it's like the third I'm doing in this format because I did one like a long time ago. It was like dropped down into 4 videos. But since I got this mic, I like doing it like this. Until I get a webcam, then I'm gonna do it with the mic and the webcam. But until then, you motherfuckers is lucky. You ain't gotta see my ugly ass face. So yeah, this podcast is brought to you by marijuana. It's good. It's good for you. Thank God that motherfucker's legal. So yeah, it's 2017, January 10th, approximately 3 o'clock as I'm recording this. I would say live, but it's not going to be live when I upload it. It'll be at least an hour later, depending how long this is and how long it takes, and if I need to edit shit out. So, I actually did a third podcast, but like I fucked up because when I was doing it, like I was saying some shit, and then like I said some shit that like, you know, when you get into a story and you got getting into specifics, well, I said some shit that I shouldn't have said, so I was like, yeah, I can't tell that story, and like I was taking forever to edit it out. So at that point, I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just not gonna, do it, and I'm just gonna do another one. So here's another one as I'm drinking this organic blueberry water that's USDA organic, supposedly. Supposedly. Yeah, sorry. Got a list. So, yeah, let's get to it. Start off with some good things. Good thing. Saw Doctor Strange. That shit was amazing. Like, it's one of the few movies, like, I tell people, like, yo, you have to see that shit in IMAX 3D because the visuals, they're meant to be seen like that. It's like Avatar. Like, I unfortunately didn't go to see it in 3D, but I wish I had. You know, because you could tell it's like, yeah, this shit would have been amazing in 3D. So that shit was amazing. I was thoroughly entertained. Like it wasn't like the best movie, you know what I mean? Because like it's like kind of followed similar beats to the first Iron Man in some ways, but it's only because the characters are similar. But you can't help it that these characters are similar because they're similar in the comics, and you want to be true to the comics. So yeah, got to be true to the comics. Definitely that. And it was cool, man. It was cool. I enjoyed the way it was formatted, the way the story progressed. I had a good progression, and I just had a good climax, good ending, good bad guys. Like the bad guy, like they didn't feel like like most one offs. Like as far as like like because most villains are one offs. Regardless of what movie you're watching, they're mostly one offs because you can't have your villains in movies at least stay around too long because each movie's kind of like a standalone in a way. If you look at it, like it needs to be a climax, and if you don't kill off your villain, sometimes it it just leads to problems. I personally don't think it does in all cases, but some cases you kind of have to kill certain villains. Especially the way you write them in the movies. So I'm just glad that what they did with this and how they further build Doctor Strange's world, and you know how they introduce future characters and how they're gonna be involved in this world. It was probably one of the best comic book movies, period. On that note, as far as introducing new shit, like the only other one I could think of that introduced people that well was Guardians of the Galaxy. As far as introducing new people, it was done well. Also, I saw Rogue One. That shit was dope. Every time you watch Star Wars, at least when I watch Star Wars, you get the feels, man, because it's so good. It's like like it's just like it feels like a moment. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't around. Like I was around, but I didn't really go to theaters as a kid. You know what I mean? So like I didn't go to like any of the prequels. You know, I waited for them to come out on home release. So like that's how I saw them and shit. So like Episode 7 and Rogue One are like really the first two Star Wars movies I've ever seen in theaters. And like thankfully I was not disappointed either. I love both of them. Excuse me, a little gassy because of the water, the organic water. But yeah, I love both of them and just enjoyed it. Like I thought it was gonna suck because it's standalone, and it's like I don't want one-off stories in Star Wars. Like I definitely don't want a Han Solo movie because you just killed him in Episode 7. Spoiler alert! It's a year fucking old. I'm sorry if you haven't seen it yet, but they kill Han Solo, and it's like, all right, that's cool. You killed him, and then you're gonna have a new actor play him in a solo movie. It's like what? Like you take away his death because he just died, and then we're gonna already see him like younger, so it's like he's not dead. It's like it's like you gotta let that absence be. You know what I mean? Like one of the cool things of Darth Vader being in this movie is like we haven't really seen Darth Vader since like the very last seconds of the prequel, but not really since like the 80s when he was like Darth Vader, and like as far as like in Revenge of the Sith, like he was just Darth Vader for a few seconds. No, like that was basically it. So it's like this was, even though he wasn't in the movie that much, it was definitely a good representation of him, and it was, except that one point is like, don't choke on your aspirations. Like I can't do James Earl Jones voice. I'm not that cool, but that's what like that was like, come on man, Vader's doing puns. Come on, bro. I don't want to hear that shit. He's supposed to be a badass, but it was kind of funny. I ain't gonna lie. I smirked when I heard it, and yeah, like I will say, like I was discussing with my friend the death of the droid that was tough as death. It's like to me that like all the deaths in that movie. Sorry, it's a spoiler alert. Should have said that earlier. My bad. But like yeah, you kind of know it's a suicide mission, and yeah, like when he died, like to me he had the most like saddest death. Then I would say the Donnie Yen's brother to me had the second saddest death, and then Donnie Yen and the pilot kind of like mixed with the third saddest death. Like Jen Erso and that one dude, like they had a sad death, but it wasn't done as well as the other ones. The other ones like that just felt more like you guys kind of have to die. Instead of like you're not trying to go find like a plane like you did last time. That one planet, like you could have easily gone and found a plane and got out of there. It's like kind of felt like I wish they would have tried to, and like then the plane broke and they're just like oh we're fucked. Instead they're like, oh, let's just sit in this beach and like waste precious minutes that we could have got a fucking plane and exited this place. But instead now we're just gonna sit here and die. Like and it's not gonna destroy the entire planet because it didn't destroy the other planet. It just like destroyed like a big chunk of like a continent or something. So it's like you guys could have easily gotten a shuttle, flown halfway to the other side of the planet, hid for like a couple days, and made sure and just fucking found a way to get off planet. You guys would be good. It's like, it's like nah, you just have to die. So you die like that. That was kind of like that's why those two deaths didn't like affect me as much as like the droid, the way he self-sacrificed. That shit was beautiful. That was well done. Sorry, I got a drink. Thirsty. Parched. So yeah, I enjoyed those. It was a good way to end the year as a moviegoer. And especially with the disappointment of Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad. It's like, just so over bad movies. It's good to like the last two movies I saw this year were like good movies, because before that, the movie I saw before that was Suicide Squad, and that shit was a shit fest. I'm telling you, I was in the theater. It was about the same amount of people that were in Rogue One. It was basically in the same theater. Like, other than like it was upstairs and downstairs, but they were both like same amount of people. Because in that AMC that I go to, you get to pick your seat before you go in. So it's like like when you see it's like like there was like about 20-30 people in that theater. And in Suicide Squad, like the trailers, there was a few trailers that one trailer with I think it was Jonah Hill and what's his name? Jonah Hill and that dude who plays Mr. Fantastic. I think it's like War Dogs or something. Like that movie got like that trailer got like some reactions. A couple of the trailers got reactions. And I think Star Wars was one of the trailers. I'm not sure, but like they all got reactions like for the most part. But when Suicide Squad came, the only reaction that happened was when fuck, what's her name? Viola Davis's character. She's one of my favorite characters too, and I can't remember her fucking name. Of course, but yeah, when her character, yeah, I mean like she she kills all the people she was working with because like she I guess she was like they don't have clearance to even know this, so it's like she was just basically cleaning up her dirty work. Like there was somebody behind me like, oh shit, that bitch is crazy. Like, or that shit was some shit like that. You know what I mean? That was it. The entire movie before and after that was a dead silence. It literally felt like I was watching it at home because there was absolutely no noise. Like I could hear people like drinking that were like at the back of the theater because unfortunately I got there like late, so I got like one of the like front aisles because I don't like sitting next to people because it's antisocial like that. So yeah, I was I was sitting in front. I could literally hear people like way back because you could hear it faint, like but I could still hear like it was that quiet in the theater, and like you know like and I remember like after the credits, like the first post credit scene, which is the only one, like people waited, and it's because people were waiting. I waited just to see, and then everybody like, what? There's no fucking extra credit scene. This movie sucks. like it was like man, it was like you heard people talking about like man, this is like the worst movie ever. It's like, and just like everybody was saying that. Like you know, like and like people were like saying that like to people they know, like they're talking within their own groups, and you know you could hear it because you know you guys are all walking down the aisle, and it's like yeah, nobody liked that movie. Came out of Rogue One, the Doctor Strange people are all excited. Same theater because I go to the same AMC all the time. I actually became a regular ticket stub member, you know, so I could you know buy the tickets online way before so I could get the best seats. You know what I mean? So like I literally would like go to like the last showing, but I bought the tickets like noon or something. So it's like 12 hours before almost. And I literally get like in the middle. So it's like yes, and people don't ever sit next to me like that because people see like oh there's one dude right there not sitting next to you. Yeah, it's like perfect. It's perfect. So I highly advise doing that if you like going to movies solo like I do because I do enjoy just going them and watching them. You know because I like going with friends sometimes, but like every time you go with a friend. You know, they always like, yo, did you see that? Yo, that shit was crazy. I'm like, motherfucker, yes. I'm watching the movie. Of course I saw that. Shut the fuck up and let me enjoy the movie. But the only thing cool about going with friends is like, you know, like the experience of like, you know, actually, you know, being with your friends. So it's more like just hanging out. That I like going to watch a movie with my friends. But if I want to watch a movie, I usually go by myself because it's just better that way. I mean, like that's why like if I go on dates with females, if I take them to movies, like I don't go to a movie I want to watch because I'm not gonna pay attention to shit. So she could always pick the movie. It could be whatever girly flick she wanted to watch. Go ahead, boo boo, do you? Because I'm probably not gonna watch the movie and we're probably just gonna make out the entire time. Probably be old school with it, you know, finger banger and shit like a gentleman. So yeah, that's my movie going experience and experiences. Oh, why the fuck is he drinking so much? It's ruining the audio. I know it's ruining the audio. It happens. So yeah, you know, top of that, like, you know, I was thinking of going into that whole Trump debate and like how much of a racist, ignorant piece of shit he is, but that's the fucking point. You know what I mean? Let's just, you know, be vigilant. Find any reason to impeach him, and other than that, you know, fuck it. You know, there's bigger things to deal with in the world. You know, like we've had worse setbacks than this. You know, it's a bad one. It's definitely bad, and you know, but the thing, it's like I've never seen. open treason be celebrated in such a redundant way. It's like alt right people, basically racist people, they hate minorities so much they're willing to be traitors to the country they claim it's theirs. You know, I'm saying, wait, you're committing treason, you're applauding treason, and you guys are cool with that just as long as like it's there's no more black presidents and like and like minorities are the problems or shit. Like it's like what? Like you hate so much you're willing to fuck yourself over. It makes no sense. It's you know what I mean. Like I've always said, racism's base that its foundation in which it stands upon is ignorance. You know, so educate yourselves. Realize 99.97% of all human DNA is identical. We're all the same. There's no reason to hate anybody because of the melatonin of their motherfucking skin. We're all human beings, so fucking act like it. That's it, man. It doesn't matter what you are, what color you are, what religion you are. I don't believe in religions. I don't hate people because they're religious. It makes you a better person. Good for you and shit. Yeah, like a menace to society was like if Allah makes him a better person than Jesus did, I'm all for it. He was talking about his son Sharif, who was like he used to be a knucklehead and then became a devout Muslim, and he was like always preaching like positive shit to his friends. I just saw it. It's one of my favorite movies because me and my homies used to like after like when we were in high school after school we'd go and like we'd watch that movie. We'd have it on VHS and shit. It was like we watch it like every fucking day. It's like this is back in the days before smartphones. You know what I mean? Like we're playing like GTA like Vice City at the time type of shit. You know what I mean? Like the San Andreas hadn't even come out yet because I got that shit when it came out. That day, I went to Blockbuster like, bam, here's $30, bitch. San Andreas, here I come. All you had to do was chase the train, CJ. All you had to do was follow the train, CJ. Yeah, man, I love that fucking game. But anyway, like, I got distracted by all this. But you know what I mean? It's like, get back to the original point, which was, like, we're all fucking people, so just stop the bullshit. And on that note, let's get back to more positive and happy subjects and shit. And like as far as GTA, man, I've been playing GTA 5 on Xbox and Xbox One because I had it on 360, but I upgraded it, got the Xbox One and got it on there too. And man, playing it in the first person, man, it enhances the game so much. The game is so much more polished. Like, and people ask me like, what's the difference? And the main difference is like when you're online and you're driving and then like the road disappears, shit like that never happens. It's like it's so clean, it's so smooth, there's no lag, it's fucking perfect. You know what I mean? And I play other games like Star Wars Battlefront, man, that shit gets laggy as fuck sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. Like sometimes I have to turn off my PC to play it because EA servers like will be like yeah, I can't read you until like I turn my PC off, and then it's like yeah, your signal's strong enough now. So yeah, like just having a lot of fun playing those games. I'm literally building like hours of like what's it called again UFC 2 like fight videos, like because you could record the last 30 seconds or screenshot what you want if you double tap the Xbox button. So like I've literally like recorded so many fucking amazing knockouts or some hilarious knockouts. Some like wait what? Like like you literally hit him, like missed him because you punch one around his head, but he still fell down like he was dead. That was crazy. Kind of like a clothesline. But yeah, so it's like I'm having a lot of fun playing those games and shit. Playing online. Intellector. I spelled like intellect with an ER at the end. 84. All caps. That's the game to tag. Holla at your boy if you want to get fucked up in UFC 2. Or if you want to shoot me in Battlefront. I ain't gonna lie, like I'm still having problems with the submission game because it's literally like if you're doing a submission, like you have to like basically Simon Says these like 4 blocks in the octagon and shit, and then like you do it till you get to a certain point, and then you have to like put your right analog stick, and then you have to do another one with your left analog stick to like clinch in the hold and sink it in. So it's kind of weird. And then like to defend it, it's like it's kind of like you have to like do the same thing but in a different manner. Like you have to press a certain direction that's like I guess opposite or something. It doesn't really explain. It's like I just never know what the fuck. I never know how to defend it. Like sometimes I get out of it like nothing, and other times I get submitted like easily as fuck. So it's like it's kind of annoying and shit. It's the only thing I gotta like do more of. Gotta go on YouTube and figure that shit out. As far as like having people explain a better tutorial. Because I heard one where it's like just scramble around and then pick a random direction. I do that, it never fucking works. So it's like you guys gotta be a little more specific than that, bro. As far as offense, like I'm getting really good. Like I could literally play the game now and just box. Like I pick certain characters like the Diaz brothers and just like throw punches and just fuck people's lives up. And like I won't even throw that many. I won't throw hard punches, but gotta drink. Hold up. I do because I played on hard difficulty, so like these dudes aren't like just coming at you crazy. Like they're technical. So what I do is I let them throw a couple punches, and once I notice their energy gets a little low, then I attack. Because the thing about the game is like the more you punch, the quicker your energy goes down, and you could after like your third or fourth punch or kick, like you're completely tired. If you throw like 3 kicks in a row, you're gonna have like no energy. Yeah, but if you throw like certain punches, you can have like you could throw like 5 or 6 and have like no energy. So it's like you could throw a few more punches, or you could throw a few punches in a kick. But like then your energy will be low, and you have to like get it back by like just moving around. And if you block or dodge, like your stamina stays at that point. Like it's a weird gauge system because it kind of works sometimes, but it doesn't work because sometimes like you could throw like 5 or 6 punches and like with the same energy and like not be tired because you're not like throwing at full power. And like that's why the Diaz brothers throw so many punches and they don't get tired. So it's like the fact that they could like other characters only throw a specific amount of punches. It's like but their stamina is like so much higher than basically anybody's in the game other than like I think Cain Velasquez, and he's a fucking heavyweight, but like he has ridiculous cardio even in the game. And yeah, like I think other than like Connor and Aldo, like the Diaz brothers have like the most stamina because everybody else is like everybody's good characters, but the highest rated characters are Aldo and Connor at featherweight. They're like 93 and 94 respectively, and yeah, like they're basically perfect fighters. It's pretty cool actually, because like they are like really great fighters anyway. So yeah, this podcast basically turned into me talking about video games and shit. Let's get into a little boxing and boxing commission. Sorry, like every time I think of saying boxing, I think of like Letterman, like boxing. The Associated Boxing Commission. It's like me and my friends, like since the '90s, we've been clowning on that motherfucker. It's like boxing. It's like the way he says that shit. It's like boxing. All right, I'm done. Boxing. I know. Yeah, that boxing. There you go. So yeah, Ward and Kovalev thought Ward won. See, this thing about people don't understand. They get too caught up in moments. Like first round, got to give it to Andre Ward. Second round, clearly 10-8 for Kovalev. Third and fourth round, Kovalev took him. But like after that, like he was getting outworked every round. Like his punches weren't having the same amount of effect. He was getting bullied, and it was like, okay, I get the fact that in the rounds where Kovalev won, he did more damage. And he landed more because he was throwing more. But as far as him landing more punches, that is bullshit. That is like just weird copy bots. Because if you look at the fight, like he outlanded Ward for only like 3 or 4 rounds. The rest of the rounds, Ward landed a whole lot of shots, and most of them were body shots, which was why he was breaking them down, because he was like literally tiring the dude out. Because people don't understand, it's like he wasn't just throwing like body shots regularly. He was throwing them like right under the armpit. It's like on the top of your ribs. That's like hitting your lungs. It's like that literally takes your air out in a worse way than getting hit in the liver or in the kidney because it's your air. It's like people don't know what that feels like. It's one of the most vulnerable places in your body. You know what I mean? And he was getting lit the fuck up in those shots, and you could see him wilting. Like he clearly didn't have the same steam in his punches. He clearly didn't have the same will to fight that he did earlier, and it wasn't because he was getting tired. It was because he was getting beat up to the body. You know what I mean? And like the way those punches were counted, it's like Ward landed more punches than him during the fight. But this is a problem with HBO. HBO is constantly fucking shit up. They're constantly commentating in a biased manner, and they're constantly fucking up the punch stats because they're the only announced team and like programmers of boxing that like literally have the weirdest discrepancy in punches. Like if you look at Cotto versus Canelo, there's no way Canelo outlanded Cotto in that fight. He wasn't doing much. He was fighting in spurts, like they said. He was only throwing a few amount of punches, but yet he threw and landed more punches than Cotto in box stats. That makes no fucking sense. You know what I mean? It's like if you count him yourself, like Cotto outlanded him like 3-1 in punches, but he was just so much smaller, and the bigger punches showed more effect because he was moving them a little more, but he was still getting outworked, you know, and it's like that's why there's no way he outlanded Cotto in that fight. They've done this before, so it's like, you know, they've done this when Chad Dawson had a rematch with Antonio Tarver. I thought Antonio Tarver clearly won almost every round, and they robbed him, and they made it seem like Chad Dawson easily won. It's like, did you guys see the same fight? It's like, that's how it is, you know. HBO is like H bias, so that's how I call them. So it's like they're extremely biased, and I'm just glad that they're no longer like the premier place for boxing because, you know, Jim Lampley's fucking the game up. Like they're just fucking the game up. They're like promoters. They're just ruining boxing with their bullshit, trying to line their pockets up. Instead of making the best fights, they'd rather make high jobs to have longer careers because they think they could emulate what Mayweather did. But the problem is Mayweather didn't fight bums. Mayweather fought champions. Mayweather fought Hall of Famers. And the problem is people like the only time there's only 2 times I could remember Mayweather going into the fight 3 times. Mayweather going into the fight being the bigger guy. And one is kind of because I'd say he was a little bigger than Ricky Hatton. But you got to remember, Ricky Hatton started his career at 140, and Mayweather started his career at like 125, 130. So like Mayweather is clearly the smaller guy. You know, but he just, you know, he was later on in his career, so he was in a bigger weight, and had just moved up and clearly lost to Collazo. That was a robbery. Collazo beat Hatton in that fight, you know. But, yeah, it's like Mayweather was bigger than that, and when he fought Marquez, you know, made Marquez jump 2 weight class, and he had been retired for like a year or something. Excuse me, he was clearly the bigger guy. He even missed weight. But it wasn't the 147 limit. It was like a 144 limit. And he came in at 146, and he didn't care. He gave up like 20% of his money. So like I know Marquez wasn't mad. That was probably one of his best paydays. And when he fought Pacquiao, he was clearly the bigger guy. But that's it. He's in every other fight he's been the smaller guy. You know what I mean? And people constantly talk shit about him. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, I don't think he's the best fighter of all time. Because there's 2 reasons why I could say that's a complete, like, farce. First of all, you can't say anybody is the best fighter ever. Because forever hasn't happened yet. I know this is kind of like nitpicky, but it's like, fighters evolve so much that, like, in 20, 30 years, there's clearly going to be better fighters than him. You know what I mean? Because the way techniques evolve, you know, and like, you know, workout regimens and, you know, just genetics, you know, people get bigger, faster, and stronger. They live healthier lives. They live longer. You know, they pass those genes down. They you know, they see it, all that. Like, that all affects you. You know what I mean? It all makes you a better fighter. You know what I mean? That's why heavyweights in the 1900s were like 180 pounds, but now heavyweights like like the you know what I mean? Like the average heavyweight is like 210, and that's considered a small heavyweight. You know what I mean? So the people get bigger, people get better, people get more technical because they learn from past fighters and past techniques, and they just correct them. There's no such thing as a perfect technique. So it's like, on that note, you can't say he's the best ever. He's clearly the best fighter of his time, which is the highest accolade you could give anybody. You know what I mean? Being the best fighter of your era means you're the best. At the time where you were around, out of all the human beings who boxed, you are the best. That's TBE. You could say he's the best ever because he was the best of his era, but that's your opinion, because you can't say he's the best fighter ever, because it's clearly at some point going to be a fighter that's going to be able to beat him. You know what I mean? As much as we all love Ali, no boxing aficionado is going to honestly tell you he could have beat Tyson in his prime. He could have beat Lennox Lewis in his prime. That he could be like some of these new cats in his, like, no. He might be able to beat some if he got lucky, but most of them will fucking destroy him because they learned from his technique. They learned from his skills. They learned from heavyweights that came after him that learned from his technique. Like Larry Holmes, they learned from him. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, do we honestly think Ali could, if Ali was in his prime and Larry Holmes was in his prime, that he would have beat Larry Holmes? I don't know. And we all saw what happened when Larry Holmes fought Mike Tyson. Now, if Larry Holmes was in his prime, would he have beat Mike Tyson? That's actually very debatable. But we know that just being a little older, Mike Tyson destroyed him. You know what I mean? So it's like, and he destroyed Ali. Like, this happens. This is how boxing goes. You literally pass the torch. There's always going to be better fighters than you at some point. So being the best of your era means you're the best ever. Because until that point, you are the best that humanity had to offer in that one skill, which is boxing. That should be enough. But it isn't. And that's why he's a great fighter. So, you know what I mean? And yeah, so on that note, it's like, I don't get the hate for him because he did so much. You know what I mean? He fought so many world champions. He fought and beat the most world champions, and he fought and beat the most boxing Hall of Famers out of anybody in any career, including people like Duran and Chavez, who had hundreds of fights. They didn't hundreds of wins. Like, I think, pretty sure Duran has over 100 knockouts, and like he didn't fight as many world champions, and which to their case, there wasn't as many belts. You know what I mean? That's also, you gotta consider inflation of belts. Back then there was less championships, and but that also meant there was less Hall of Fame fighters. Like, if there were the same amount of belts today, I mean, is there the same amount of belts back then that there are today? Then people like Duran and Chavez would have fought a lot more champions, but they didn't because there wasn't as many belts. There was enough, but there wasn't as many belts. You know what I mean? To be a world champion back then means you were like the best of that weight class. You know what I mean? There was like maybe one or two of the dudes at most in that weight class other than you with belts at most. Nowadays, there's like fucking 15 champions in almost every weight class. There's regular champs, there's gold champs, there's silver champs, there's fucking diamond champs. There's a bunch of champs. You know what I mean? There's U.S. Continental fucking I forgot, like, not English royalty, but like like the European belts. It's like there's so many different belts. Region based belts. Like Britain has their own regional belts, just like America has their own regional belts, just like Japan has their own regional belts, just like China has their own regional belts, and then you have world championships. You know what I mean? You have champs, and then you have world champs. There's so many belts. So much belts. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, gotta love boxing, though. It's like, it's gonna be a good year for it. Garcia versus Thurman is definitely gonna be an incredibly good matchup. I have Thurman knocking him out by the 7th or 8th round. I think Garcia is too small for welterweight naturally, and he gets beat. He's kind of beat up by too many fighters that he was given the win that he didn't deserve. Like Herrera beat him, Lamont Peterson and me beat him, edged him very in a very close fight. Like Lamont Peterson, if he would have fought harder earlier, he would have left no doubt. But he to me won that fight, and Eric Morales, the first fight before the second fight, he knocked Eric Morales out in the fourth, so he clearly won that. In the first fight, I had Morales beating him on points and getting a fucked up decision, which sucks, but it happens. You know what I mean? And I just don't see him surviving with someone like Thurman. I think if he fought Sean Porter would knock his ass out too. I think if he fought Adrian Broner would knock him out. I think he would be beating Adrian Broner early on, but I think Adrian Broner will catch him because we saw Adrian Broner get beat up by Sean Porter for 12 rounds and still drop him in the last round. He carries his power throughout the entire fight, and he has heart. Like, say what you want to say about Broner, shit talking, he's annoying, I got you, but that motherfucker has heart, and he fights to the end. He dropped Sean Porter in the 12th round. Thurman didn't drop Sean Porter, and he won the fight clearly. Kell Brooks didn't drop Sean Porter, and he won the fight clearly. Actually, I can't remember if Kell Brooks dropped. I'm pretty sure he did it. But, yeah, it's like Sean Porter is literally that dude who's like, you could only beat him if you're the champ. He's that dude of the division. It's like, yeah, you could be a good fighter, but you have to be you could be a good fighter to give him a fight, but he's probably gonna beat you. But you have to be a great fighter to beat him. Like, only two great fighters to beat him, which is Brook and Thurman. They have the possibility of being great. They're not great as of yet. Well, Thurman is getting close. He's definitely getting close. But yeah, so looking forward to those fights. And Triple G's finally fighting a legit middleweight in Danny Jacobs, who I don't get how. I know people say GGG has a bigger name, but this is because HBO. He only has a bigger name because he boxes on HBO and they push him because they're always looking for a entertaining fighter who gets a lot of knockouts, and if he's white, it's even a bigger win. But the problem is Danny Jacobs is the only one out of both of them who defeated an undefeated world champion to win his title. He beat Kid Chocolate. Peter Quillin. And he knocked him out in the first round. That win is bigger than anything that what's his name Gennady Golovkin did. And people were like, oh, didn't he get dropped by Sergio Moro, who's a 154 guy? I'm like, yo, do you guys know that Golovkin beat Gabriel Rosado, who's also a 154 guy? He's fought plenty of 154. He also fought Kell Brook. You can't say that Danny Jacobs has cherry picked a welterweight. He's never done that. You know what I mean? Sergio Moro at least fought in 160 and 154, and he moved up to 160 permanently older he got. So it's like he's established in that weight class. You know what I mean? So, that's what I'm saying. He Gennady Golovkin is a good fighter, but he's kind of a hype job. He doesn't beat anybody who hasn't already been beaten. I mean, even David Lemieux, who was his toughest fight, had already been beaten and got the fight by beating the 154-pound Gabriel Rosado, who's a tough dude, one of the toughest motherfuckers in boxing history, but he is not a world-class 160 fighter, and he's gotten too many ass whoopings, and it's ruined his career. Who's ever got his career has fucked his career up. That dude could have been a legit 154-pound champion, and they just ruined it. Made him move up too early for big names, and paydays that he shouldn't take. He had no business fighting Peter Quillin. He had no business fighting Gennady Golovkin. He had no business fighting David Lemieux. Like he should have stayed at 154, got on a better diet plan to make sure he didn't fluctuate in weight, and he would have lasted longer. He would have took less damage. Like now this dude has like several losses with fucking brutal wars where it was like blood and guts type of shit. You know what I mean? It was like that takes a part of your soul away from you. I mean, you're not the same after one of those fights. He's had 3 or 4 of those fights. You know what I mean? And like what we know now about brain damage, like dude, that dude's gone through too much. You know. So on that note, I got Jacobs. I mean, I'm not sold, but on Golovkin yet because um, his trainer had another fighter just like him named Yuri Bocampus. Was knocking a bunch of nobodies out and was a world champion until he ran into this well-known fighter named Felix Tito Trinidad, and he got knocked. He dropped him early, but he got knocked the fuck out, and he was never the same. That's how I see Gennady Golovkin. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. Same type of fighter, same trainer. I think his career is gonna have the same outcome, except he's got more belts. You know what I mean? Even one that literally was handed to him by Canelo because he didn't want to fight him, man. Which is sad that like that's even being said in boxing. Like this dude gives up a belt. Now Riddick Bowe did that, and Riddick Bowe's career was over basically after that. He wasn't taken serious after that. Canelo does that, and he's the highest paid boxer. The following year, he did that. He's the highest paid boxer. That is shameful. And the problem is the Mexican fan base. Because Mexican fans are the most loyal motherfuckers. But they are loyal to a fault. Just because he's Mexican, they follow him. And just because they're told he's the biggest name. And the only reason he's considered the biggest name is because he got easily outboxed by Mayweather. And because so many people saw that one fight. And the only reason he brought that many folks into it is because he's a Mexican fighter. You know what I mean? And he was being built up as this big thing, and he had an entertaining style, but he was literally beating 135 and 140-pound guys like Jose Cito Lopez. Literally moved up from 135 to 140 to fight Victor Ortiz, and then he moved up to 154 to fight Canelo. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's like Canelo wanted to fight Victor Ortiz, y'all. That's all I got. He wanted to fight Victor Ortiz. That's all I got. I mean, dude's a hot job. Now he's trying to fight Chavez at 165, but he doesn't want to fight Golovkin, which is a bigger money fight, at 160 because he's not acclimated to being that big yet. Come on, man. And he still got fans. He's still the highest paid boxer of this year. That is sad. So, MMA wise, gotta speak on it. First of all, Cody Garbrandt versus Dominic Cruz. That was a great fight. I would love to see the rematch, the adjustment Cruz makes. Because if you notice, he did more damage facially. Because other than the cut, but I mean, he lumped them up more. Other than that one cut, which could have been from the kick or a headbutt, we don't know. At least I don't know. The video showed a headbutt, but people are saying it was a kick, so I don't know. Both of them said it was a kick, so it's kind of hard to say. It probably was a kick. Either way, great fight. And Ronda Rousey, that hurt my soul. Right, because I'm not a big fan of hers because of the way she carried herself as a champion. You know what I mean? The way she never showed any class, she never showed any honor, and that's why she gets such a big backlash. And that's why I don't feel bad for her because she's earned all the good as well as all the bad. You know what I mean? And like you kind of deserve to get shitted on if you literally shit on everybody while you're on top. You know what I mean? So it happens. Like I still feel bad because you can tell she's a good she's like you can tell she's like a jaded person. Like she has you can tell she's like a kind and nice, caring, but she has too much hate and anger in her from it could be from so many things. I don't want to even speculate because I don't know her personally, but you can tell that's why she's got that angry face and she's always intense like that because she hasn't had an easy life and harsh times could turn even the kindest people a little cold and you can kind of see that that might be the case for her. At least that's what I feel. So this to me though, the problem with her isn't her. It's a trainer. If you look at her now and you look at her in Strikeforce, she has not evolved a inch in technique or skill or anything. She is the exact same fighter. This is the same dude who, on the Joe Rogan podcast, both of them, Ronda and him, admitted that he refused to train her because she was a woman, and it wasn't until like he was basically forced to train her and saw that like she could win and like, you know, she could be profitable that, you know, like he took her serious. That is fucked up. If I was in the gym and some dude did that to a woman, I would whoop that dude's ass and that dude would never come back in the gym. Either he wouldn't or I wouldn't, because there'd be problems. Because you don't treat people like that in the gym. You know what I mean? If someone wants to train, you train them. You know what I mean? If you don't want to train them, you refer them to another trainer. And the only reason you shouldn't want to train them is because you have too many fighters. Alright? You know what I mean? You don't do that to people. That's fucked up. And you know, like you know, listen to her mom, man. Her mom speaks the truth. Her mom is a fucking gangster. I love her mom to death. She's my favorite, like, stage mom of all time because it's actually from the heart. You know what I mean? Like, and like, yo, she always said that dude was a piece of shit. I'm telling you, that dude's a fucking piece of shit. He does not know how to box too. I saw his training. I saw his MMA fight. He was tough, but he was fighting some dude with like no stand up and like, you know, like he had like a decent roundhouse kick that he landed in the knee, but like his punches were like completely awful, like very greenish. I mean, I even hit him up on Twitter and let him know like, you don't know how to box, bro. Like, and I would love to get in the ring with him because I would fucking destroy him, like easily, easy work. I'm telling you, man, I see it. Like, you come out with his tall stance. You know what I mean? Trying to land powerful straight shots, and I'm just gonna sidestep, block, find the openings, counter, break him down little by little, tire him out, make him miss, counter, make him pay. Once it gets on the inside, body shots, lace him up, and before you know it, he's gonna be tired, he's gonna be hurt, and I'm gonna be smiling. So I'm just saying, I would love to fuck that dude up. Make it happen. If Soulja Boy could fight Chris Brown, let me whoop this motherfucker's ass. Hashtag intellect versus whatever the fuck Ronda Rousey's trainer name is. Fucking Edward. I don't know how to say his last name. Fuck that guy. Yeah, on that note, you know what I mean? Like, I feel bad for her, though. You know, I personally think she should retire because she's taking 2 fucking horrendous ass whoopings, and she's not going to get any better. The sport has evolved past her. She is the Royce Gracie of women's MMA. And you guys don't feel bad for Royce Gracie. You know what I mean? Like, he was great. He went on a great run. Incredible win streak. One of the longest winning streaks in UFC history. Then, like, you know, like, sport evolved. He came back. He fought Matt Hughes and got destroyed easily because the sport evolved. And that's what happened with her. The sport evolved past her, and she didn't have the proper trainer to evolve her. Now, if she was in a proper camp, she would have evolved with the times, and she would have been better, and she wouldn't have lost. She would have beat Holly Holmes because she would have been better at closing the distance, and she would have been better at avoiding the stand-up, as far as like avoiding the strikes and, you know, coming in smart instead of coming in hot-headed, which is what she did. She thought she could bully her way into it, and you can't do that. You're not invincible. You're a human being. If you get hit enough times in the head, you're gonna get hurt. And after that first knockdown, you could see her mentally, she crumbled because she's a bully. And when a bully gets bullied, there's 2 things that could happen. That could either make them a nicer person, and it could make them tougher, or it could break them, and it broke her. On top of that, just getting knocked out like that, period, it could break a person. Not everybody bounces back from that. So it makes someone like Pacquiao fucking amazing, because he got knocked the fuck out, and he came back. He took a year off, and he came back, and he was still himself. He fought a little smarter, didn't take as many chances, Still fighting dudes twice his fucking size. I know why people mad that he's not getting knockouts, but he's still fighting dudes twice his fucking size. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's what makes people like that amazing. You know what I mean? Like Anderson Silva came back from a knockout, which was his fault because he was climbing too much, and a fucking broken leg, and he's still fighting. Got robbed when he fought against Bisbee. I don't give a fuck what anybody said. He won that fight. Hendo beat Bisbee in the rematch. Bisbee is known to get bullshit calls when he's in fucking England. They always give him fucking wins that he doesn't deserve. I mean, he deserves a lot because he's a fighter. He's a tough motherfucker, but he didn't earn those victories. He lost those fights. You know what I mean? Anderson Silva and Hendo, fine, both got on a plane and went home. Bisbee had to be in a fucking hospital after each of those fights. He was in a hospital. Who won that fight, man? Come on now. But yeah, on that note, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I get shitting on Ronda, but it's like, you know, you gotta let that go. You know that she at the end of the day, she's still a person, and you know, like, she deserves better than that from fans. You know what I mean? She deserves, like, you know what I mean? The world deserves to be better towards people like that. You know what I mean? It's like nothing you could say feels worse than what she experienced in that cage. You know what I mean? So like, I get the memes are funny, you know what I mean, and all that. I shared a few too, because, you know, they're funny. Fuck, don't blame me. Got a sense of humor, motherfucker. I can laugh. But yeah, I felt bad for her. So hopefully, you know, she bounces back, retires or not. You know, hope nothing but the best for her. Hope she gets a real trainer though. Fuck that guy. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Like I said before, my name is Intellect. One and only, homie. I don't fuck with phonies. Y'all know what it is. I get to it. Let's get it. And it's the end of the intellectual podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Sponsored by weed. Smoke some on me. Some of this Cali Bomb shit. Which I know about that Cali Bomb shit. Y'all have a good day. Stay blessed. You know what I mean? Love life and one another. I'm out this motherfucker.